Hello and welcome to SLE Equipment in Nashville, Tennessee. Today we're doing the instructional video for this 8.5 by 20 white with silver trim concession trailer. First thing we're going to talk about today and go over is power supply. So please be mindful, this is a 240 volt system. It is a dangerous amount of electricity and we just want to make sure everybody's safe. So with that, we recommend that before hooking the power cords up to the unit, you ensure that your power source, whether it be a shore cable like we're running off today or generator, be turned off. Once you've ensured that it's off, go ahead and hook your cord up to the unit here. Simply push this in, turn it to the right as it is a twist lock, and then you can tighten down this collar here to hold that firmly in place. Plug your other end, the 50 amp plug, into the either your generator or your shore line, and at that point go ahead and turn on your power source. All right, as you can see, this trailer is equipped with the generator platform here on the front on the extended tongue. It has the 2 propane cages with 100-pound propane tanks. Now those tanks do come empty. We'll go over that here shortly. Here we have the 36 by 36 access panel, or access door. Gives you access into the V-nose. Inside the V-nose here you have the 30-gallon freshwater tank. Water pump over here in the corner. You can see the bottom of the sink and all the plumbing. And the opposite side over there you have the water heater. Here's your electric panel. And I'll show you on the electric panel. As you can see here, all the breakers are labeled as to what's what. And next to the electric panel, we have the inverter charging box. So that inverter charges the 12 volt system anytime that the unit is hooked up to a power supply. So that'll keep your 12 volt battery functioning and running as it should. The fuses for the 12 volt system are underneath the lid here over top of the battery. The 12 volt system operates all your interior and exterior LED lights, and then it also operates the water pump and the electric fan that you have here, the vent fan. All right, real quick we'll go over the plumbing lines here. So this is your main drain line, or your main supply line, sorry. You can see the handle is in line with the plumbing line there. That means that valve is open. This line here, this is your blowout valve and line. This handle is not in line with the plumbing line here, so that valve is closed. When you get ready to go through the blowout procedure, you'll just simply connect your air fitting here. This is primarily for the winterization process, and you'll get that video separately to walk you through that process. And then this line here, this is your drain line. It drains the wastewater tank, or I'm sorry, the freshwater tank here. And as you can see, that goes through the floor and it comes out the bottom of the unit. So that allows you, if you open this handle up, it will drain all the water out of the waste tank, or freshwater tank, sorry. All right, and then of course your supplied power cord that comes with the unit here in the front. Next up, we're going to take a look at the water access panel. Simply unlock this. So if you're filling up the freshwater tank, simply remove this cap, insert a hose here, fill the tank, again 30 gallons, and then remove your hose, replace your tank once you're done filling it. If you have access to a pressurized system, you can utilize that here. It's just a typical garden hose fitting. As you can see here, it does have a screen filter on it. Connect there. That supplies water directly to the water heater and then the water pump and on to the faucets there. It just bypasses the freshwater tank altogether. All right. And this key will be hanging around the faucets whenever you take possession of the unit. Let's get a look down the side right quick here. All right, up top here at the front, you can see the LED floodlight. And then we have the 30 by 30 horizontal sliding window. Come down here, we have the waste tank drain. So this waste tank drain, this cap, just remove that cap and you can hook a 3-inch hose up there. You can buy that hose at any RV and camping supply store or Amazon, Walmart, any of those type places. Once you've hooked your hose up here, pull this handle out. That'll allow the contents of the waste tank to drain. Once it's completed, push the handle back in, remove your hose, put your cap back on, and you are good to go there. All right. Up here you see another LED light. The exhaust fan for the exhaust hood inside the unit. And then another LED floodlight on the corner there. And then here we have the two 7,000-pound axles. Steel wheels that are white in color. Quick note on these wheels or axles here. Right behind this rubber cap in the center there, if you pull that cap off, there's a grease fitting back there. You have one on each wheel. So once every 10,000 miles to 1 year, whichever comes first, you'll need to pull that cap off, take your grease gun, connect to that grease fitting, and grease the bearings and hubs good. That way it keeps those in proper working order, okay? Helps prevent damage and ultimately failure of those items, okay? Come on around to the back here. Have the 8-foot wide cargo ramp, and then the LED floodlight at the top. So to open this ramp door, this side is already unlatched. It's going to function just the same as this side though. So I just want to demonstrate this for you real quick. Flip that up, grab your handle, push up, push that off to the side. Do not stand underneath the door as you're lowering it. It does have a cable on each side that helps support it and keep it from just falling, but in case something fails, this is a heavy door, so you don't want to be underneath it when it falls. All right, so we'll open it to that point. Just want to show you that it does open and as it properly should. All right, and it's latched back. So moving on around, we'll take a quick look down the passenger side here. As you can see, there is an LED floodlight here to the left of the concession window, and then next the 8-foot concession window. Open that for you. It does take 2 hands to open that. Inside you have the 4 separate windows there. Each window unit has 2 panes of glass, one for the top, one for the bottom, and then it also has a screen in the center there. So you can have those open shut however you like, whatever configuration there. And then next you have another LED floodlight here between the door and the concession window. LED floodlight at the front of the unit on the other side on the front side of the door. And then here is the cargo ramp door opening. I already have it open because it functions the exact same as the rear ramp as far as latching it. You can see the latches on both sides of it there. So now we'll head inside the unit. So real quick before we do walk in, we're going to start into the gas propane system here. So I'm going to walk you through the proper steps to starting up the gas propane system. So first and foremost, you want to ensure that your concession window is open, all right, and that you have windows open so that air can flow through there. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up a couple of these now. All right, so now that we've opened up a couple of windows, now we're gonna turn on our exhaust hood. And that switch is right here on the wall, straight across basically from where you enter the unit. The two LED lights on the hood come on when you flip the switch on for the exhaust hood. All right, so once we've opened our window, turned on our exhaust hood, now we want to go through and we want to check all of our appliances. And I understand on this trailer there's going to be 4 fryers that go in. So the fryers, they don't have free-flowing pilot lights. You have to manually turn that pilot light on and light it. So with that, just make sure that the pilot light button is in the off position and your temperature selector's knob is in the off position on each of those fryers. And so for my purposes today, the only valves I have are the gas valves here. There's 2 there, 2 more down here. Since I don't have any equipment in here, those gas valves are closed right now. Once you receive the unit, you'll have those open. All right. Now, you can turn those valves and close those off if you desire at any point. That's completely up to you. But they will be under and kind of behind the fryers. So just wanted to point that out there real quick. But all right, so we've gone through, we've opened our windows, turned on our exhaust hood, made sure that all of our appliances, the knobs are in the off position. So at that point, now we're ready to exit the unit and come out here to the propane tanks. So as I said, these are 200-pound propane tanks. When you receive these tanks, they are empty. So the first thing you're going to need to do is with the tanks is take them to a licensed certified dealer to have them filled. We recommend using someone who is licensed and certified because for a variety of reasons. One of them being that a 100-pound propane tank holds approximately 23 gallons of propane. So you want to make sure that you're using somebody that knows what they're doing, that's not going to overfill these and can fill these properly. If these were to be overfilled, you risk damaging either the valve on the tank or the regulator on the unit there, okay? So first step we're gonna do, come here, turn this knob all the way on. Open that valve fully, all right? And then once we've got that valve fully open, we're gonna come right here to the vent. We're going to kind of listen right here, make sure that we don't hear any gas hissing out of here or smell an abnormal amount of propane coming from here. If we do, you potentially have a bad regulator. You'll need to shut the valve back off on the propane tank and have the unit serviced by your local gas company. All right. This checks out though. The next thing you're going to do is come here, turn the valve on. So again, if this handle is in line, that valve is open. If it's not in line, that valve is closed. All right, so you're going to open that valve. When you do, you're going to hear an initial whoosh of gas go through this line. That's all you should hear. You should not hear a continuous flow of gas. If you do hear a continuous flow of gas, then at that point you need to shut this back off. I would recommend first go back inside your unit, make sure that all your knobs on your appliances are turned to the off position. If they are, come back out, open it again, see if you still hear that continuous flow of gas. If they're not, go ahead and turn off whatever valves need to be turned off, and then come back out here and turn this back on again. All right. If you still hear that continuous flow of gas, at that point you'll need to shut this off, turn the valve off on your propane tank, contact your local gas company, have them come out and inspect the unit and make any necessary repairs. The reason for this, these gas lines do run underneath the unit. So there is the potential that during transport, you could have rocks, chunks of rubber, chunks of wood, any kind of road debris kick up off the road, hitting a gas line, and at that point it could cause a leak in the gas line or a rupture of line, and that would cause obvious issues, right? So, or there's a potential that you could have a hose inside the unit that's been, you know, damaged some way and it's leaking, and you definitely don't want to be inside the unit with any gas leaking inside the unit. All right, so again, if you hear that continuous flow of gas, please exit the unit. All right, we've turned on our valve here. Everything checks out with the regulator. Turn this on. Everything checks out here. Now we're ready to go inside the unit, start up our appliances. So at that point, you can go back inside the unit, go ahead and light your pilot lights, and start cooking for the day, okay? All right, let's talk about this exhaust hood here real quick. So as you can see, the grease filters are all inside the hood. Excuse me. Once, at least minimum once a week, you're gonna want to take those grease filters out, wash them with a good soap and water, warm water, get them good and clean, and then place them back in the hood just to prevent any potential grease fires inside the hood. And I'm gonna turn this hood off since I don't have any appliances going here. That way I don't feel like I'm having to yell here. But so yeah, once a week, clean the grease filters. Your grease rail here, you'll need to clean that at least once a week as well. And then right in behind this piece of paper here, wrapped to the center filter, there's a grease cup there that catches all the grease that drips down the railing. That's going to mount right here. All right, so to take these grease filters out, simply come here, lift the filter, lower it down, or pull it out toward you, and then lower it down. To put it back in place, line it up in the top, push it up, push it in at the bottom, and then lower it down into place again. All right, and then next, see this gap here in between these filters, and see how this one is nice and tight. So at this point, we want to line all of our filters back up, close those gaps up, make sure we have those as tight as possible. That way it prevents any larger objects from being sucked up in between the grease filters and into the fan and potentially damaging the fan, okay? So that's the exhaust hood there. Next, we're gonna go over the fire suppression system. So as you can see, again, this is set up for 4 fryers. So you have the 4 down drops here for the fire suppression system. Over here, we'll go up here first. Here's the tank for the fire suppression system sitting on the shelf in the V-nose. Show you some of the lines here. And then here is the control head. So this control head, if you needed to manually set the system off, you'd simply come here. This operates just like pulling a pin on a fire extinguisher. Just give a good firm pull, flip the switch over to the left there. That'll move over to fired. And at that point, you're going to want to exit the unit. All right. Come on down here, follow this line down. So that's the fire suppression system fuel shutoff valve. So if the system is discharged, whether manually or because it picked up too much heat and discharged itself, then at that point, that shutoff valve is going to automatically shut off the gas to the unit and not allow any gas to continue on through the 4 gas valves here, okay? So, next thing we're going to go over, let's take a look at the V-nose here. You can see the shelf up on the top there inside the V-nose, and then the lower shelf is a stainless steel shelf there in the V-nose. At the hand wash station here, the 3-bay sink, and then these cabinet doors down here. So these cabinet doors give you access into the V-nose. As you can see there, you can see the water heater, the outlet that the water heater is plugged into. Just a 30-gallon freshwater tank there. And then on this side, Here you can see the plumbing lines, water pump over there in the corner. All right. The 3-bay sink does come with the drain sides on it here, so any water that gets up here will be funneled back down and down into the sink on the end. Same thing for the other end of the sink there. And then let's go ahead and demonstrate this water. Cold water side, good steady flow. And real quick, before turning on your water, you're going to want to turn on your water pump. That switch is right here on the wall below the hand wash station. Okay, just turn that to the on position, and then we'll check the hot water side. While that's running, I'm going to go ahead and get a temperature reading here, just to demonstrate the pump is working. Oh, we want that on Fahrenheit. It's climbing nice. So we're looking usually for about 120. Most codes departments require that, and there's 120. It's going to continue to climb higher. I've got it set on the max setting, so you'll want to adjust that to wherever you need it once you get the unit. And we'll demonstrate the water over here. Hand wash station. Cold water side. Everything functioning as it should. So let's talk about the hot water right quick. So before you start or plug in your water heater for the day, first thing you want to do after you've plugged the unit up, probably the next thing you want to do is come inside, turn the hot water spout or handle on. Make sure you have a good steady flow of water coming from the faucet like you see there. If it's spitting and sputtering, let that run until you can see that good continuous flow. That continuous flow tells you that the water heater is full of water now. And so at that point, once you know that it's full of water by seeing that continuous flow, you can then plug in your water heater safely without running the risk of damaging the heating element because it's trying to heat nothing. So if you were to plug that in and the water heater wasn't full, it's not going to have the water in it to heat, so you run a high probability of burning up your heating element and then incurring an extra cost that could be avoided. So what I recommend to everybody is at the beginning of the day, first thing you do, just make it a habit, come in, check your water, make sure it's got a good steady constant flow, then plug your water heater in, and then at the very end of the day, unplug your water heater as one of the last things you do before shutting the unit down. You've got to go into you're going to go into the V-nose to store away the cord there. You know, you could unplug, stow your power cord, and then climb over and unplug that water heater, or you could reach through the cabinet here and unplug it at some point. However you want to do that, I just recommend that you make that a habit. That way you don't run the risk of burning up that unit. Because if you've gone through the winterization process, there's not going to be any water in the water heater or the plumbing lines. So it's just a helpful tip there. All right. Moving on. Over here in the sink, and I'll leave these here for transport. This seems to be about the best place to have these unless you want to move them inside a vehicle. Here you have the Class K fire extinguisher and the ABC fire extinguisher. Both are supplied as part of the fire suppression package. The Class K is required in any commercial kitchen throughout the United States, so we supply that as part of the fire suppression package. All right, so those are there and ready for you. Next up, let's go around the unit and check all these outlets. Just demonstrate everything's working. Two yellow lights side by side means it is functioning properly. It's working. Come over here. Real quick, this switch here, this turns on the rear LED light that you saw above the rear cargo door or ramp door there. So just want to show you where that's located at. 2 lights there. Come down here. Good. Good. Plug is brand new, so sometimes they're a little tedious. There it goes. First time plugging into them, they can get a little difficult at times. Alright, that one's good. And this one is good. So now that we've demonstrated all of those, let's go over the rest of the features here. So the light switches for the unit. This top one is the on-off for the interior LED light. These middle 2 are your LED lights down the passenger side here, and then the LED lights down the driver's side. And then this switch goes to this vent here for the fan. So you just turn that knob right there to open that vent, and then you can turn that vent on, or that fan on. It's just a motorized fan, and have it running. So again, that is on the 12-volt system along with the interior and exterior LEDs and the water pump. All right. Speaking of the LED lights, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 LED lights inside the unit. Here we have the AC and heat unit. So this first knob right here, that's going to be your off. High cool, low cool, high heat, low heat, high fan, low fan. Speak I can sometimes. This switch here is a directional switch, so you can turn, if you flip this toward the outside of the unit there, that will shut off air from flowing out this end. Same thing with this switch, it shuts off air flowing from this end. So you can have this end closed, that end open, that end closed, this end open, both open, whatever combination there. I will tell you, with this end being as close as it is to that exhaust hood, most of the air coming out of this end is going to get sucked right into that exhaust hood and right up through your roof. So you may want to have that closed, this end open, let it blow air into the V-nose there, and then kind of circulate back some to help cool the unit. All right. The unit is, or does have, rubber coin flooring inside of it, and then you can see the silver walls all around, rubber coin flooring on the ramp door, and then the silver roof as well. Very good looking unit here with the white trim on the cabinets there. All right, that is, oh, one last thing. So up on the wall here, a couple of last things actually. Here on the wall you'll see this sticker. It has some safety guidelines and procedures for general safety and maintenance, startup procedures, shutdown procedures, and then things to check before transit. So we went over the startup procedures. Shutdown procedures for the gas are going to be basically opposite of what you do to start it up. So the first thing you're going to do is go through, and like with this unit, it has 4 fryers. Again, those pilot lights have to be manually turned on and lit, and then manually turned off. So you're going to want to go through and turn off all 4 of your pilot lights. Make sure your knobs, for your temperature knobs, are in the off position. And then once you've done both of those things, just verify that that pilot light goes out. At that point, exit the unit, go back up to the front, close the valve on the gas line, and then close the valve on the propane tank there itself. All right. So that's how you'll shut down the gas. And then come back in, verify that your pilot lights are off and that all the knobs on your fryers are in the off position. Okay, just to double check to make sure, because there are 2 tanks on this. If you've closed one off, you had both of them turned on, and you turned one of them off but left a valve open on the other one, it would still be supplying gas to the fryers. And if you didn't get a pilot light turned off, or if you had the pilot light turned off, but you left the temperature knob not turned off, gas would still be flowing into the unit. All right, and you just want to make sure that you don't have that issue. All right, so if you have that, if there is gas flowing into the unit, you should smell it if you're inside the unit. However, we do have a backup here. I forgot to plug this in on the wall before I started this video, but this is the carbon monoxide alarm and explosive gas alarm that comes with the unit. You see the 0 there? That 0 means it's not reading any gas. Great thing. That's what you really would want. It will occasionally flash LB. If it flashes LB, that just simply means low battery. The battery for this one I have in my hand here, it will be laying with there's the flash for LB, the beep. I will have it and the manual up here in the V nose for you. That way those don't get lost. So once you've double checked your fryers though and made sure that they are off, then at that point you're safe to go ahead and turn off your exhaust tube. Okay. That alarm will be in here. Now I'll show you on the back of this alarm. This plug here does remove from there. There's extra cord in behind here for that plug so that you can have it plugged into the wall and then this mounted somewhere on the wall within reach of that cord. And then on this side of the back here, underneath this cover is where the battery goes, and currently there is a mounting kit in there to mount this on the wall if you desire. All right, so there we go, there's that. So we've gone over the shutdown procedures for the gas. We've talked about the water heater and unplugging it at the end of the day. So at that point, you're just left with, just routine cleanup, maintenance, shut down for the end of the day. And then the last thing I want to talk about is before you put this unit into transit, you're going to want to make sure you check your lugs, make sure they're tight, check the tire pressure, make sure that's where it should be. Make sure any hoses, drain hoses, drain hoses are disconnected and stowed away. The power cord is disconnected and stowed away in the V-nose, things of that sort, before you transit or transport the unit from one point to another. All right, that'll do it for our instructional video for this unit. Thank you for choosing SLE. We appreciate your business.